13.4, evaluate inverse trig functions. All right, so the first ones we're doing are without a calculator, which means we're using our unit circle to do them. So inverse trig from your notes, where does sine occur? No, from your inverse notes.
Oh.
Where is inverse sine occur? Where? On the unit circle. Right, left, top, or bottom?
Oh.
The right side. Okay, from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2, right? Okay. Where does cosine occur?
Top.
The top. The top from 0 to pi. Where does tangent occur? Inverse tan.
Right.
The right side, minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. So, we're going to use that information to help us solve these. It says to do it in degrees and radians, so we're going to write both. So number 4, the inverse tangent, and sometimes you're going to hear me say arctangent. I use this interchangeably. They're, for all intents and purposes, the same thing. But of -1. So the way we do this is we take our lovely unit circle, and I'm going to see where the tangent value is equal to -1. Tangent occurs on the right side, so where is tangent -1? On the right side. Okay, down here. Now, the temptation for people is to write 315 degrees or 7 pi over 4, but that's not right. Okay, it's from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2, so this is going to be negative pi over 4 or negative 45 degrees. The inverse cosine of -2. Where's cosine -2? We only care about the top. What's the biggest number out that I can be? And what do I have? So this is undefined. Had to do a trick one there. Outside the realm of our ability. All right, inverse sine of 1/2. So where is sine 1/2 where it's defined? Where the sine value is 1/2. What radian and degree value? Pi over 6. Sine is y. So pi over 6 and 30 degrees. Ten. Inverse cosine of 1/2 or -1/2. So where is cosine -1/2? Cosine occurs where? Top. So where on the top is cosine -1/2? 2 pi over 3 or 120 degrees. All right, the next ones you need your calculator for. It wants your answers in degrees and radians, but to save you from flipping your calculator back and forth between modes every 2 seconds, I'm going to write all the problems. We'll do all the radians, and then we'll do all the degrees for those. So this one is with your calculator.
First one's radian.
Hmm?
You said the first one doing it.
We'll do radians first. So go in radian mode first. So I'm going to go ahead and write them all. So inverse sine of 0.18, inverse cosine of 0.36, inverse tan of negative 0.75, and then inverse sine of 0.8. So when you do these, okay, let me check what mode I'm in. Radians, okay. All right, radians first. So when you do this, okay, above each of your trig functions is the inverse button for that particular function. So for inverse sine, you're going to hit second, sine, and then that brings up to the -1, and then you just do the 0.18. And we'll just go to 2 decimal places. So this one would be 0.18. All right, what is the inverse cosine of 0.36 in radians? Oh, gosh.
1.2.
All right, inverse tangent of negative 0.75. Negative 0.64, inverse sine of 0.8. All right, now switch your calculator to degree mode, and we're going to do them all again in degrees. So inverse sine of 0.18, and we'll still do 2 decimal places on these. 10.37, and make sure you put the degree symbol on these ones that are in degree mode. Inverse cosine of 0.36. Inverse tangent of negative 0.75.
36.87.
I was going to say, is it positive? 36.87. And inverse sine of 0.8.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on that stuff? All right. So, let's see. Next thing. All right, we're going to be solving the equation for theta. This first one's just going to be an example, not out of the homework, and then we'll do a couple out of the homework because this is probably the hardest thing in this section. It's not bad, it's just probably the hardest thing out of it. So we're going to solve for theta. So sine of theta is equal to negative 5/8, where 180 degrees is less than theta is less than 270 degrees. So what quadrant is that in? What quadrant is theta in between 180 and 270?
Wherever the bottom left.
Bottom left, quadrant 3.
Yeah.
So that means this value is occurring somewhere down here. Okay? So to get theta by itself, okay, I need to undo, okay, just like we would undo normal, like if we had x, we're trying to get x by itself, we undo whatever's being done to it, right? We're going to do the same thing. Well, to undo sine, we're going to take the inverse of it. And so this is going to become theta is equal to the inverse sine of negative 5/8. So we're going to do it in degrees just because it's one, given to us in degrees, and two, way easier to work with. So, and you put in your calculator the inverse sine of negative 5/8, what does it give you?
Negative 38.
-38.68 degrees. Now, that is not in the quadrant that I wanted in, correct? Because your calculator knows that inverse sine occurs on the right, okay? So right now, this value is in quadrant 4, 2, I don't know. Anyways, bottom right. I always mix up 2 and 4. It's in the bottom right, okay? So I need to use the stuff from, what was it, 13.3 to get the angle all the way around where I want it, because I need theta in this range right here. So what did I need to use to get something into quadrant 3? What was that conversion? They're the ones that are like 360 plus or minus or 180 minus. Huh?
What's it called? Coterminal?
No, not coterminal. The not quadrantial.
It's like the
Why am I
one,
blanking
it was
on
like
the
the
word?
one on page.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, well,
It's the ones that it gave you the quadrants other than quadrant 1, and you had to like add or subtract
is it for rating?
for degrees, yeah, to get it in quadrant 3.
What is it? It's the theta with the one on top.
It's like,
The one on top.
Equals theta.
I didn't know that was specific.
I forgot which page it was.
It's good. No.
After that video yesterday, I think you can do much worse.
It is one good.
You know that video, they were yapping.
What did you didn't take it to
No, that was last night, they were yapping.
Oh, we need to use. Wait.
I don't know what it is.
Hold on a second. We need to find the equivalent angle before we use the negative, because we have to get that to not be a negative angle is what we need to do first.
Oh.
Okay, basically, this is, let me draw a little. Okay, right now, we have an angle that is somewhere down in here. Okay, but we need it to be in this side over here. So I need to figure out what is going to get me to that point. So, it's using that formula that you said, but I need the positive one. So there's a way we can modify that formula. So the formula that we had was theta minus 180 when we did it. But right now I have a negative angle. So if I subtract that, I'm going to end up getting like another negative angle. So if I actually add them together, so 180 plus this value, like minus the negative, it's going to put me back around over here where I need to be. So we'll have 180 minus the negative 38.68 which adds it together and puts you in, what's that, 2, 18.68. Is that right?
Sure.
Something like that. These ones are kind of where, I guess I should put it this way. It's kind of where, like, what makes common sense to get it back to where you need it to be. Because I need to get an angle value that is in quadrant 3, but I currently have one that's in quadrant 4. Yeah. So I need to do something to get it there, and so doing 180 basically plus that value is going to move it around down here to where it's in an equivalent spot there. We'll do another one, it'll make more sense. 20. Cosine of theta is equal to negative 0.82. 180 less than theta less than 270. So again, still in quadrant 3 for that. So we're going to take the inverse cosine, but cosine occurs where?
Top.
The top. So I'm going to have to move it from the top down to quadrant 3. So inverse, and we needed to make sure in degree mode. Inverse cosine of negative 0.82 is
145.08.
so 145.08. So if I want to get an equivalent angle, so right now I've got an angle that is up here, right? Then I need one that's actually down here that's equivalent to that. So from here to here we get this one. So I need to do something to get down to here. And so if we do 360 minus that value, what does that give us? $214.92, and that is in degrees, and so that would be the angle that's down here in quadrant 3 that we're looking for. So these ones are honestly just what kind of makes sense to get it there. Like if you add 180 doesn't work, you subtract 180 doesn't work, add 360, like you just basically it's kind of like trial and error till you get one that works. There's not really a good explanation of how to get there. But when you're done, let's say you're not sure you did it right, you're like, I really don't know. If you plug in the cosine of 214.92, what do you get? Which is where I started, so I know that I have the right angle. Let's see, 24. Tangent of theta is equal to negative 5.3. This one is 90 degrees is less than theta is less than 180 degrees. So this one is in quadrant 2. So top left. But tangent has to occur on the right side. So I need to do the inverse tangent of negative 5.3. Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Are you sure? Did you
Oh.
plug in negative 5.3?
Yeah. No, I accidentally wrote on paper positive, so it's negative.
Okay. It's like I was expecting a negative. All right, so now this is currently, this value that they gave me is down here. But I need one up in quadrant 2. So I need it up here. So what makes the most logical sense to get me from here to here? Adding, subtracting, how much? It's like halfway around, so how much would that be?
180.
180. So we're going to do negative 79.32 plus 180. What does that give you?
100.68.
Which is in the range we were looking for, so it's good. And again, you could check it by doing the tangent of 100.68, and it would give you negative 5.3. All right, the next thing is finding the measure of the angle theta. So now we're given a triangle. So these are a little different than what we had before. You have a triangle, looks something like, whoa, not like that. That looks kind of like this. They indicate that this is a right angle. This side is 6, this side is 1. And we're trying to find theta now. Okay, so before they gave us theta and they gave us a side and we were trying to find the other side or the other pieces that were missing. But now they want me to find theta. Okay, so what trig function associates that angle theta with the two sides that I have? Tangent. So I'm going to have the tangent of theta is equal to opposite, so 6 over 1, which obviously I don't really need to write the over 1 part, but now I need to undo it. So if I'm trying to find theta, how would I undo that? Inverse, so I'm going to take the inverse tangent. So theta is equal to inverse tangent of 6. .54 degrees. Alright, I think that's all for this section. So, problems are 3 through 9 odd, 13, 15, 17, 23, 25, and 27.